Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center for the 127 Post-Mission Management Team News Conference. Joining me this afternoon is Leroy Kane, the Space Shuttle Deputy Program Manager and Chair of the Mission Management Team, Pete Nikolenko, the STS-127 Shuttle Launch Director.
Good afternoon.
And Kathy Winters, Shuttle Weather Officer.
Good afternoon.
We'll hear from our panel and then we'll take questions. Mr. Kane.
Okay, thank you, Kendry. Well, good afternoon. It's great to be here with you. We are in launch preparations for STS-127. As you know, we suffered a problem in our preparations on Friday, in preparation for launch on Saturday when we were tanking the vehicle. I'm going to let Pete talk to you about some of the details of that failure and the work that the team is doing to remedy the situation out on the tank with our vent seal issue. But we met as a mission management team today to talk for the scrub turnaround plan. What is our path forward, and what is the next launch opportunity that we think we can make, and just review the problem and talk about schedules and range priorities and things of the like. So we did talk a good deal about the issue at hand. The team has done a lot of work in the last 36 hours, and Pete is going to outline that work for you. They worked very hard on a schedule to try and determine what the end point for that schedule is, to where we can get to a T0 next launch opportunity. It became clear to us at some point yesterday that the earliest opportunity that we would have to go fly after our scrub on Saturday would be June 17th on Wednesday. As you know, we have a range conflict on June 17th. We currently have another NASA mission, the Atlas V LRO L-Cross mission, is officially on the range schedule for the 17th. And so we began having some discussions inside the agency about the priorities of the missions and how we could maximize the launch priorities for both of the launch opportunities for both of these missions. So we talked a little bit about that in the MMT today as well. The vehicle is in great shape. We're not experiencing any other issues. We went around the room and talked to all of the program elements, and we aren't working any other problems other than the premier issue here with the GUCP. And so the team is marching down toward the 17th, and we're doing that from a processing standpoint. We're doing that in parallel with what we understand the Atlas V LRO team is processing toward the 17th as well. There is a point in time where the range will have to reconfigure for LRO if LRO is going to launch on the 17th, which is the current schedule, and that'll occur sometime tomorrow. From a priority standpoint, what we are trying to do within the agency is to maximize the launch opportunities. The way it works out is if shuttle goes first on the 17th, then the most opportunities that we can give LRO is 2, and that would be on the 19th and 20th. If LRO goes first on the 17th, then the most opportunities we could get for the shuttle is 1 opportunity, and that would be on the 20th. And the reason for the difference is because the range reconfiguration time required between shuttle and LRO and vice versa, and the fact that their launch time is late in the afternoon and ours is early in the morning. So in Plan A, which is shuttle launching on the 17th and LRO has attempts on the 19th and 20th, we have 3 total launch opportunities between the 2 missions. In Plan B, LRO on the 17th and shuttle on the 20th, we only have 2 total launch opportunities between the 2 missions. So from an agency standpoint, we're trying to maximize our opportunities. Within the shuttle, our direction is to continue to process toward the 17th. We're going to see how the processing goes, and Pete's going to lay out that schedule for you here. If we have some good fortune If we have some good weather, or at least not too much bad weather, in the next 24, 36 hours, then we think it's achievable for us to get to a T0 on the 17th. Beyond that, within the MMT discussions today, as I said, we really didn't have any other issues to talk about. There's some indication of a small hydraulic leak in the tail service mast that the teams are looking at to determine if there's anything from a flight vehicle standpoint we need to go work and clean up. But that was a relatively minor issue and some follow-up required, and Pete can give you some more details on that. So, in summary, we're doing really well in reconfiguration and heading towards a new launch attempt of the 17th. And I'll let Pete talk to you about some of the processing details.
All right, thanks, Leroy. Well, as you know, we ended up scrubbing our launch attempt early Saturday morning for our gaseous hydrogen leak at the ground umbilical carrier plate. We did end up performing at the time 4 cycles of the external tank vent valve, and basically it did not correct or help correct the leak issue. We did notice that the signature was nearly identical or very similar to what we saw for STS-119. So once we realized that we were in violation of launch commit criteria, we declared scrub for the day, and based on that experience from STS-119, realized that we would try to follow that same path. So we set a path for the launch team to follow that scrub turnaround, which is a 96-hour scrub turnaround plan, to proceed towards removing and replacing the quick disconnect in the seal for that ground umbilical carrier plate. And we are in the process of performing that activity as we speak. Yesterday we did complete the draining of the external tank, a process called boil off, which means removing the residual vapors of the hydrogen and oxygen from the tank and then inerting the tank. And we need to do that in order to provide a safe environment for the teams working in the area of the umbilical plate area, so that there is no hydrogen in that area. We completed that very early this morning in the midnight or so time frame, and since then we've gained access to the carrier plate. We've extended the external tank vent line, performed some dimensional measurements, baseline dimensional measurements and initial leak checks, and disconnected the ordnance for that area. And then just a short bit ago we completed the disconnection of that vent line. We're just now in the process of picking up with the quick disconnect and the seal removal and replacement, and that activity is going to take about 12 hours. After that time, we'll remate the vent line and perform leak checks and torque checks of that vent line area, and then complete the retests and closeouts of those areas. Basically moving towards the path of resuming our launch countdown at T-minus 11 hours Tuesday afternoon at about 1:15 p.m., which will put us in the path to making a launch attempt Wednesday morning, as Leroy described. While the team was performing some of those initial dimensional checks, they did note a couple of observations, including some very small slight gaps in a couple of areas known as the right-hand pivot assembly slot, which is not centered on a support pin, which is not what they were expecting. And that does indicate that the right-hand pivot assembly had pulled away very slightly from the external tank. And they also noted 2 gaps on the right side of that umbilical plate area, and an area called the right-hand swivel pad gap, both upper and lower. And those there were very slight gaps, but they were